Hello, and thank you for coming to the Free Your Mind 3 conference. My name is Jay Parker. I am a SRA survivor and a internet radio talk show host. My presentation today at Free Your Mind 3 is entitled Humanity at the Crossroads. Basically, the time has run out for the human race. This is William L. Price, architect from Philadelphia. Mr. Price designed the two pedophile Illuminati villages of Arden, Delaware, and Rose Valley, Pennsylvania in 1900. These villages were funded for their development by, Arden was, by Joseph Fels, the Fels Naphtha tycoon. So William Price laid out Arden using, there's quite a bit of sacred geometry in it, and there's quite a bit of malls and greens in the layout of Arden. When I asked my mother why there were so many malls and greens in Arden, of course they used them early on to plant gardens, but also it had a second effect of that you could see who was coming down the roads a long way away before they got to your house. And if you were raping and torturing children, you definitely want to know who's coming down the road, especially if they're police. This is a picture of Frank Stevens, the founder of Arden. Frank Stevens was an artist and in the Philadelphia Academy of Fine Arts. He helped with Joseph Fels, William Price, to found Arden, Delaware, and to get the people to move there. Arden started out very slowly, took time to develop, but it's now a thriving community of about 450 people. And this is a picture of William Penn, the admiral's son. William Penn founded the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. His father was an admiral. William Penn, according to my mother, was a warlock and Illuminati. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Here, the statue above City Hall gives you the truth about William Penn. In his right hand is a scroll, which means in Freemasonry, he has occulted knowledge. He knows the truth about this place and the world and the energy grids and how to manipulate the human race. And in his left hand, he has what? A bag. What my mother said to me was very simple. Every warlock has a bag. That's why they keep their magic in it, and they keep their drugs and potions and spell books. And so every warlock has a bag. William Penn was controlled opposition. And the reason being here is when America was founded and colonized, the British put different types of people in different places so that they could get more of the slaves from England to migrate. They wanted to make sure they got the land built up as fast as possible, okay, to make money, to get the timber and stuff. So a good way to do that is have a lot of flavors of places to go. You know, you want religious freedom, go here. You want to be a Puritan, go to Massachusetts, and so on and so forth. Now, this is a picture of my primary abuser in Arden, except, of course, my father and mother. In the middle of this picture is Buzz Ware. Buzz Ware was a graphic designer and a trustee of Arden, Delaware. Buzz Ware job in life was he had a little gallery in Arden, and what he did was sell art pieces from all over the world. But what he was actually doing was connecting with different Illuminati cells all over the world and finding out new mind control techniques and things to advance the Illuminati agenda on planet Earth. Now, to the left of Buzz Ware in this picture is Frank Stevens' son. And Frank Stevens' son looks like he's having quite a nice time with Buzz Ware. And Ginny Ware is to the left. And Ginny used to do a lot of satanic ritual abuse on me with my mother, putting in dark entities through the pouring of the oil in the ear, and you could see the energy coming in, like almost like a download, and excruciatingly painful. And I was screaming from the pain, and Ginny said, "It'll be all right, it'll pass." And I was like, "Why are you doing this?" And she said to me, "We've got to toughen you up. You know, got to get rid of that humanity in you. It's too soft." She didn't say that. She just said, "We got to toughen you up." Because, you know, they can't have love and humanity and nature. You know, it's all got to be corrupted, destroyed. You know, it's warped. But here's a nice picture. This is from a show called Andromeda, starring Kevin Sorbo. And in the second year of the UPN series, Andromeda, Kevin Sorbo encountered a race of being called the Magog. And the Magog are a race of primitive beings that are so ignorant, all they do is destroy everything in their path. Planets, people, they just destroy everything. That's all they are, is wreckers. They worship a entity called the Spirit of the Abyss. This is a UPN dramatization of the Magog's Spirit of the Abyss. If you see the actual episode, I think it's in the second year, towards the front of the season. When you see this, I didn't capture the video of this. I just got a shot. In the Colton Arden, they worship a particular deity called the Marquis of Hell. And when they conjure the Marquis of Hell up, he looks very similar to this, translucent energy being. And the light is kind of spotty and is moving around. And the Marquis of Hell does this with his hands. And that's all he does, is move around and do this. Because I wasn't an adept and could communicate with him, but that's all he did, you know, from me watching him, was do this weird dance, right? And on his head were snakes, okay? Instead of hair, it was luminous snakes like a Medusa. That's why in Greek mythology, if you ever saw the Medusa, your heart would turn to stone. You know, I think even along with your body, but you know what I mean? There's a little connection there. Because what the Marquis of Hell does, and the people involved in that, is destroy the human heart. This is the Buzz Ware Village Center as it stands today. Arden, Delaware is a very progressive, a very tight community. I do not know how many practicing Satanists are there, but I do know that some of the people I grew up with did go cult and do live in the area. I'm not going to name their names, but I'm just saying that Certainly looks like business as usual to me. When I lived there in the 60s and early 70s, the percentage was 90% Marquis of Hell, 10% normal, asleep American. Bloodlines of the Illuminati by Fritz Springmeier is a work you have to read. Now, Jim Keith has done a book called Mass Control, Engineering of Human Consciousness. What this place is a consciousness holodeck, but it's hard to see unless you start the research. How to create an undetectable mind control slave. After I was woken up in '99, I got triggered. I had to fight off 3 months of, that's how long it took for me to get it, resolved, of Illuminati monarch, kill yourself programming. Monarchs like myself are programmed that if we ever break our programming and come out of the program into reality, we are to kill ourselves, And for 3 months, the tape player in my subconscious was, kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. There's nothing left to do. Look at your life, kill yourself. I mean, it was intense. The biochemical and emotional attachment to the suicide programming, another Jay Parker freakazoid moment. I've never heard of anyone other than myself that has gotten through suicide programming, but I can, and talked about it, So I'm just talking about it, saying, hey, folks, if somebody comes out of these programs and is a survivor, they had to go past the suicide programming. And you should really admire those people because it's hard work. And you got to really want to live, all right? This is Transformation of America, a book by Cathy O'Brien. I certify that everything that Cathy O'Brien has written in this book is true. When I was growing up, the people Cathy mentions as abusers, handlers, Illuminati kingpins, my mother and father knew were on the winning team, okay? But the winning team isn't the winning team. The Illuminati are losers. Always have been, always will be. Franklin Cover-Up. This book is about the child abuse Satanism in Boys Town, Nebraska during the Daddy Bush administration, around 90, 91. They used to go to Boys Town, grab the children, fly them into D.C., and rape them and stuff. And it's all there. And the movie's out about it. So, I have a lot of slides, so I'm going to go quickly. I'm just getting this information out so that when people see this presentation, they'll be able to get the resources they need to have a full understanding of reality. Bryce Taylor is another whistleblower. Like Cathy O'Brien, she was a presidential model sex slave and drug mule and other things. Her main handler was Bob Hope, who my father said was MI5. Ted O. Gunderson has done a magnificent work of honesty and investigation, unlike the LA prosecution, on the McMartin preschool case. And you can find it on the web, and it's staggering to see how badly they covered it up. They got the cover-up in, but Gunderson blows it away. FBI still does not keep statistics on missing children in America, and the FBI refuses to do any investigation whatsoever in satanic cults. And believe me, I know for a fact that people have gone and tried to get help from them, and they've said, sorry, we're not allowed. One of the biggest abuse sites and abuse therapy resource sites is www.ritualabuse.us. If you don't believe that 10% of America is dark occult, go to this website and see how much information and testimony by people there is. Okay, because no, it's not people making stuff up because they want attention. Watch this from South Park.
May I help you?
Hi. Can we speak to the head guy or something?
Right this way. Excuse me, sir. These boys wanted to speak with you.
Ah, yes, splendid. Good afternoon, lads. Welcome to the Super Adventure Club.
Jolly
Cheerio.
Indeed.
Hi. Our friend joined your club a while back, and now he wants to molest kids.
What? Well, yes, of course. That's what the Super Adventure Club does.
Huh?
We travel the world and have sex with children.
Yes, what else would we do?
Well, we thought you went exploring and, like, hunting and stuff.
No, that's the Adventure Club. We're the Super Adventure Club. Next week, we will be heading to the outer banks of the Amazon, where we will make camp and have sex with children of the Ugani tribe. Then it's off to the mighty Himalayas, where we will climb K2 and molest several Tibetan children on the East Summit. So how would you all like to join the Super Adventure Club?
No!
No? Oh, really? Perhaps I should ask you again. How would you like to join the Super Adventure Club?
Just what the hell is that thing?
What? What thing? I don't see anything.
Ha! I knew it! Knew what? The reason Chef has been saying those terrible things about us is because he's been brainwashed.
Interesting, is it not? I just want to say, when did I wake up to a society where it's entertaining to make fun of pedophiles, you know, where this is humor, you know? Pedophilia is not a laughing matter. Pedophilia is emotional and spiritual murder. Make no doubt about it. And the pedophiles can justify their sickness all they want, but all I have to say is it is murder. Just because the synapse, the children are not ready emotionally, spiritually. They don't have all their brainwave patterns until they're 7 years old. They can't handle intimacy. They were not meant to go through this at, 4 years old and whatever. I mean, and I'm talking general pedophiles that are not cult. Now, if you grow up in a satanic ritual abuse cult like I did, the Marquis of Hell, okay, you are abused from the cradle. Because when you're generational Satanist, the programming and abuse, in fact, even starts in vitro. My mother said it was not uncommon for people in the cult to electrically shock their fetus in order to start the cycle of trauma and the warping of the synaptic pathways. Because when you grow up in a cult setting, you never know when you're going to get attacked. You never know when your parents are going to switch on their entity, their possessed demon entity, and attack you. But my mother's favorite, I've got to give a shout out to my mother's favorite programmer, and his name was Joseph Mengele. And my mother used to call him Sweet Joseph. And Sweet Joseph was part of the Project Paperclip Nazi scientists that came to America after the war. I believe over 5,000 Nazi scientists came to America. It's interesting what the Nazis did after the war. They divided their scientific community almost directly in half. I mean, right down the middle. The Soviets get this guy, the Americans get this guy, okay? So they made sure that the right people got in the right places in both the Soviet Union and in America to steer the Nazi agenda. You know, literally, the Nazi scientists going to the Soviet Union and to America after the war was one of the greatest Trojan horse moves in history. The Nazis are a dedicated cult. And if you give your life for the cult, great, you know. And all I'm saying is they set up the Soviet Union and America after the war. One more thing I want to say about Mengele. He spent a lot of time in China Lake in California and in St. Louis doing programming for the CIA. And my mother said, the people in Arden invited Joseph to live in Arden. But unfortunately, the CIA and the Naval Intelligence wanted him to keep working. Here is a picture, declassified, of a MK Ultra subject in 1961. All I have to say is, I've heard that as many as 3 million children went through the program, okay, in the 50s and 60s. I'd have to do some research to see what the number really is. But 25,000 pages of redacted documents dealing just with MK Ultra and mind control abuse of children that the CIA monitored and, hired psychiatrists and people to torture, rape, and manipulate children. I mean, you can see this child, God only knows what they're doing to her. But 25,000 pages, and you can get the CDs, what that 25,000 pages of redacted MK Ultra information from the government. But if you generate 25,000 pages of work, okay, on a subject like this, where God knows, they don't want the word to get out about this, you know what I mean? It's not like they're making reports like crazy so they get in the wrong hands. So you got to think that just an amazing amount of children suffered through this. And they use Monarch in all kind levels of society today. The National Center of Missing and Exploited Children says that 800,000 children go missing each year in America. And I was on another website last week where the total number of missing people in America last year was 828,000. Just disappeared. Poof, gone. And as I have said, in 1963, my mother said that 12% of America was generational Satanist dark occult. I've rounded that off to 10%. But the thing is, the cult could have grown in size, not gotten smaller. So it could be, instead of my mother's 1963 figure of 12%, it could be 14% now, or it could be 8%. Just don't know. But we are talking about millions of people. At 10%, we're talking about 34 million dark occult adepts. That's a lot of people. Bohemian Grove. Very nice place where the elite go and decide what the slaves are going to do next year. But at the Grove, this is the layout for their, banquets. has the tables in a circular fashion. And the reason being is Atlantis and Lemuria were real places. And there was a high society pre-10,000 BC. And the dark occultists, they want to bring Atlantis back because Atlantis was a total genetic engineering, fascist hellhole. Serious. It was scientists gone mad. And here's a picture of Atlantis as described by Plato. Peter Champeau. He writes a book where he actually gives you all the ley lines that are out there. And those are energy lines called the Dragon Pass that are very important to the energy of this environment and our reaction to it. And one of the greatest ley lines in the world, of course, is the Arcadian ley line that goes right through Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., all right, Boston. Yeah. Yeah. And what happens is, if you have dark occultists like in Rose Valley and Arden, they're on either side of the ley line, within a couple of miles of the ley line. So on a high satanic holiday, when they're torturing and raping toddlers, the energy can be passed back and forth and easily fed into the energy grid of the planet. The poisoning of the morphogenic field is what the rank and file dark occultists are doing, okay, to keep this system going, okay? So, you know, what makes someone want to become enlightened, you know, to put away the television and the ridiculous culture? Well, one of the things I found is when you get a little bit of really good knowledge, you want more, you know? When you find out some truth that really blows your mind, you want some more. And one of the things, of course, in our Illuminati-controlled society is the education system is just indoctrination, and the religious system now is basically just mind control. But website triviumeducation.com, this can change your life because you'll be able to look at what people are saying in this world and literally cut their BS right through because you'll be thinking. And I just recommend that site to everyone. The Blue Pyramid holodeck. One of the rituals I went through as a toddler, well, actually, when they did this to me, I was probably 5 and a half. I was getting near 6. They do a ritual. They get the energy to where they want it. I don't know whether it was under a trance or certain drugs, but I had a strange out-of-body experience because I'm in the Church of the Marquis of Hell underneath the Candlelight Theater behind Buzzware's gallery. You know, he had a big black curtain. You went past the black curtain, you left the art gallery and went into the Church of Satan. And so, very strange story. So they do this ritual to see if I can bounce out my consciousness into this other area. And so I do it. I actually see the blue pyramids. And I saw 2.5 350-foot tall blue pyramids. They were glowing light blue, just like the UN blue. There was no other source of light on the planet's surface that I could see. I was about a half a mile away. I could not move my vision left or right, and I just saw the pyramids, saw the giant black stone boulders underneath these pyramids, and I believe that is the computer that is making this matrix happen, okay? And that's what the Illuminati say during this ritual. They say when I came back, I had about, 15, 20 seconds in the presence of the Blue Pyramids. Also, the Blue Pyramids had the black sky of the Matrix movies, but very little lightning in it. It was just very heavy, low sky and exceedingly dark. There was no vegetation to be seen, okay? And the boulders of black onyx stone, I believe it was onyx underneath these boulders, these pyramids, huge black boulders of polished onyx. Onyx is used to capture souls, okay? And what else can I say about this Blue Pyramid holodeck? If you look into Nassim Harameyn's work, you'll find that we're in an infinitely dense, space is infinitely dense. I mean, it's just crazy what the real physics reality and quantum physics reality of this place is. But I must say about the Blue Pyramids, the energy and the consciousness emanating from the Blue Pyramids was absolutely archonic. It was like the Holy Watchers, only baby, ain't nothing holy about them. And my mother told me that what happened was there was a spiritual attack on the Blue Pyramids. And essentially, that's what led to where we are today. Now, in 2000, I believe, around 6, yeah, I was meditating and I had that Blue Pyramid experience again, which kind of shocked me because I didn't have a bunch of Illuminati around me, doing the energy thing I needed to bounce out. So it kind of freaked me out. I was like, well, what's up with that? And I realized that it's one of the things that I'm here to talk about, is the fact that you're in a consciousness-driven holodeck, okay? And the Illuminati are doing a Jedi mind trick on you, okay? So, but you can get away from Jedi mind tricks by getting your head strong, getting your heart strong, okay? Don't worry about it. We have more to talk about. I keep going. GEO 600 is a gravitational wave detector. And right now, when they tune this to less than half a Max Planck length in physics, when they go try to see below the size of half a Planck length, it's all white noise, like an old analog TV that can't find a station. And some physicists were saying, well, if it's that way, then that means this is a simulation, okay? And it is a simulation. That's what's the best news about it. We can change the world. The Schumann resonance, for millions of years, according to some scientists, they figure it's been at 7.5 for millions of years. All the planets have a resonant frequency. And in fact, you can record the sound of the planets or some recordings of different planetary sounds that you can hear. But each planet has a resonant vibrational Hertz signature. Now, we have gone from 7.5 to 16.5. 16.5 is a esophageal, Fibonacci sequence number. When you do the Fibonacci sequence on 16.5, you wind up with 528, which is the heart chakra DNA repair code, okay? So just think of it this way, that you're now living on a DNA repair code transmitter, okay? You're living on a heart chakra rebuilding transmitter. When you walk outside, and put your feet in the dirt, I'm sure that energy will almost be palatable now. Because why? Why the abuse? The abuse is done and directed by higher entities in the Illuminati and ETs, okay? Because without it, the morphogenic field of the goddess and of humanity would be in a place where you really couldn't do such evil. You just couldn't do it. And you've all noticed that when someone is really angry and he comes into a room of really happy, calm people, their hearts have the ability to just snuff out that anger, you know? It's hard for negativity to exist around positivity. It's just, the positive just eats it up, you know? So what this book by Rupert Sheldrake is a book on the morphic field. It's how nature communicates, shares energy, and progresses in knowledge of itself. It's a very, very good book. But what I want to say to the dark occult that are out there, you know, and you've probably all seen some of my talks about you being thrown under the bus. You're not going to get the transhumanist bodies. You're not going to go and get on the spaceships with the Rockefellers and the Queen of England. And let me tell you why. You are a built slave, okay? You are a human being that has been tortured and synaptically realigned, okay, and possessed by fourth dimensional EET power. And you're not reptilian. And, you know, all this stuff that you're doing, it's not for you. It's for the shape-shifting reptilians that are trapped on this planet. Once they find a way to break quarantine, they'll be out of here in a heartbeat. And you're not going with them, no matter how many children you kill, no matter how much raping and destruction you cause to poison the morphogenic field and keep this system going. You're not getting a transhumanist body, and you're not getting off planet with them. I'm just saying, you drank the fluoride water. You gave vaccinations to your children. You watch television with all the subliminals, okay? Let's really do a checkup from the neck up about how special you really are to the elite. Let's see what else. Oh, you're being irradiated by the cell towers also. Have they given you some magic potion to protect your cell walls from the cell tower radiation? Have they given you some special vaccine that doesn't have the mercury in it? Although they're available, 9 times out of 10, I bet you when you went to your pediatrician, he never even offered you a mercury-free vaccination, did he? Now, although you're special, you're Illuminati, you know. All you are is a mind-controlled slave, one rung of the ladder up from the lowest of the low, unconscious, mind-controlled slave. It's just one, instead of being an inmate in the prison, you're a guard in the jail. Congratulations, well done, you know? What a joke. This is Lynn McTaggart book, The Field. Just an excellent book, along with Rupert Sheldrake. When you know who you are, when you know where you are, you're on the road to power. And Nassim Haramein, one of the greatest physicists living today, okay? And he's got a lot of stuff out on the web. But I have to say, Nassim Haramein is a residence project in Hawaii. He has a foundation there and a school and a bunch of people working for him. They're trying to get back to what Tesla was doing with the free energy. They're trying to figure out how the ancients and Lee Scanlon of the Coral Cave Castle in Florida, how one man with just energy manipulation moved those tons of blocks, just like Baalbek in Lebanon, the huge blocks. How were the obelisks cut? You know, how did things work? How could you move a 100-ton block of granite, you know? When you are a primitive civilization, we can't do some of these things now. They found stone blocks in Russia that today our society couldn't even budge. And the ones at Baalbek, it's kind of a little pricey whether we can move some of them. Now, Gary Craig, Emotional Freedom Technique. In a lot of my talks, I give a recipe for healing from being brainwashed in cult ritual. And Gary Craig's Emotional Freedom Technique will deal with the first and primary problem of all dark occult victims and perpetrators. And that is post-traumatic stress disorder. I guarantee you, you get this book, you do what it says, you get rid of your PSTD. And then you start writing out your trauma like Kathy O'Brien says to do, and you do Emotional Freedom Technique on it, and you start destroying the spider web of programming that's in your subconscious. It's like going into your subconscious with a samurai sword and just chopping away at all the cobwebs, okay? How do you like that analogy? Now, Wisdom of Yourselves is one of the greatest talks ever given about biology. It's done by Bruce Lipton. Bruce spent 35 years as a top-shelf microbiologist. Bruce Lipton was working with stem cells in 1967. Okay, so do you think it was on the top rung of scientific community? Of course he was. We have trillions of cells in our body. Each cell cooperates, you know? Yet here on this planet, we've got 7.3 billion people, and we can't even get cooperation. So obviously, the human body understands a lot more than the people do, you know? So one of the greatest things Bruce Lipton found out was thoughts change genetic code in your body. Your thoughts can actually change some of the things with your DNA. And your emotions can change your DNA. And he ain't joking, okay? That's why they poison the morphogenic field. And that's why human beings have a gene to make vitamin C. But for some strange reason, it's turned off. It's turned off because we are in a poisoned morphogenic field. If the Illuminati rank and file stand down and slow down their poisoning of the morphogenic field, many of the DNA codes that are very positive for human beings that are off right now would probably switch on. You can find Wisdom of Yourselves at Amazon, and it's about $40 used and close to 80 new. Kevin Trudeau, who has now been set up by the Federal Trade Commission and railroaded and put in jail, funny story, he made this series called Your Wish is Your Command. Now, it's part of the whole secret series of information that came out. But Kevin got together with some Freemasons, got together with some royal people in Europe and others. He says some light Illuminati which, I could consider myself a light Illuminati, And they gave this talk. It's a long talk on what the nature of reality is here as far as getting the desires and hopes and dreams. It's kind of focused a lot more on money than I would like, but some of the information, like your thoughts can change matter, okay? Einstein said your thoughts are things and they can change matter. They can actually change physical matter, your thoughts, okay? So the quotes and the things he talks about, the information in Your Wish is Your Command, it's really great, It's just stuff you never knew and you need to know. And I'm going to talk briefly about the cancer epidemic in America. We lose 500,000 people a year, okay? The cancer industry, or the doctors, the oncologists, whatever, it costs $125 billion a year in America alone, the cancer industry. And we lose 500,000 people a year, roughly. In 1975, Richard Nixon, well, actually, it was before that. It was like 71. He commissioned major studies by like 5 universities, and I know the University of Virginia was one, to study marijuana and see what its relationship to cancer was. Because Richard Nixon and his fascist friends wanted to show that marijuana caused cancer, and that the war on drugs was a war against cancer, too. Okay? I'm serious. Well, so he spent a bunch of money to do these studies, and in 1975, the studies came back to the CDC, and every study said conclusively that THC and CBD are miracle drugs, and that THC and CBD, epilepsy, cancer, COPD, unbelievable healing power of cannabis oil and the compounds in hemp and cannabis. So what did the CDC do? They took all the 5 reports and buried them and told any doctor or scientist at the CDC, shut up about this if you want to keep your job. Okay? So, since 1980, America has lost 17 million people. 17 million people. But at least the cancer industry is thriving. All I have to say is the governments are still saying, no, we can't have our cannabis medicine. So you know what my friends are doing. My friends are disobeying. And they're making Rick Simpson oil, and they're healing people. But you have to understand that government is committing murder by not allowing us to have our medicine. God created the plant life on this planet. And when you live in a society where nature is illegal, you're even less than a slave. I mean, that is slavery on steroids. So one of the things that in my recovery from satanic ritual abuse is my health is not too good because of certain, like the Lyme's disease I have and stuff. But I go to Natural News and other sites like Dr. Mercola, and I keep up on, what's going on to keep my health in good shape. And then you have some more books here I want to talk about to understand the nature of reality. Holograph Universe by Michael Talbot. It's a real fun read because when you know that it's a holograph and you're a magician and you this and that, you can have fun with it. Magician, hypnotist. There's one hypnotist hypnotizes this guy, and even though his daughter is standing right in front of him, he can't see her. And then he put a watch with an inscription behind his daughter's back. And he said, "Can you see the watch I'm holding?" And he said, "Yes." Looking right through his daughter, whole party full of people watching this, because it was a hypnotist, magician, entertainer. And the bottom line here is, if your subconscious has been programmed, or your conscious has been programmed to read or not read certain code in the 52 waveform energy field that we are existing in, then it will and will not read that code. It will say, does not compute. Okay, so he read the inscription on that watch and looked right through his girl. And all I gotta say is, if you don't think stuff like that's true, just keep reading my book list and you'll get it. What the bleep do we know? Great film, great concepts, and you just have to walk away from your indoctrination as fast as you can into reality. Biology of Belief, Bruce Lipton. This is an important website for me. Etheric Warriors, I believe, is where I found out about Organite, Don Croft. And I've been gifting, along with Free Your Mind people, Organite all over the Philadelphia region, especially at the large Fairmount, where the Art Museum is, in that area. It is a nexus point of 6 ley lines of Dragon Pass. Etheric Warriors has tutorials on how to make Organite, and it shows you what the worldwide gifting community is doing. Thunderbolts of the Gods explains the electric nature of our universe. Science is telling us that the sun is a atomic sun, helium-3 is a giant, nuclear reaction, okay? Thunderbolts of Gods will show you that the universe is electric. It runs on plasma and gravity and electromagnetic forces. What I'm suggesting, why read that? What does it mean for my life? It's that we are here to learn and grow. So the more information and reality you get into you, your brains and spirit are a wonderful thing, and they kind of mix things together, and you'll have more of an appreciation for everything. And this man is dead. Lloyd Pye died of cancer a couple of years ago. Very fast, rapid cancer. And I'm just going to say, on this cancer thing, because I got a little vignette film I think I'm going to make and get out there, because I'm sick of this murder, is that John Lennon's first wife just died last week of cancer in Spain. Beautiful woman, never hurt anybody. But I'm sure in her generation, my generation, she was like everybody else. We got the polio vaccine with SV40 cancer virus in it. 99 million people in the US alone in the 50s and 60s were injected with SV40 cancer virus. And the CDC has admitted this publicly on their website. This SV40 cancer virus is passed generation to generation. So the medical establishment will have customers forever, forever, forever. And the darkness and the pain of families watching Their little boy died of leukemia. Their father died of prostate cancer. All that emotional pain, all the financial grief and suffering, everything. Well, sure, it makes the dark entities of the Illuminati very fat and happy because they exist off of negative energy. That's what they live for. That's why we have a worldwide society based on making everything as bad as it possibly can be for the majority of human beings. Because the real movers and shakers of this, it's just a couple cast down, high-dimensional negative entities. And the only thing they can eat to sustain themselves here, okay, is human suffering. And Michael Tsarion should know his work. Really, really good work. I mean, his work when it comes to the Irish origins of civilization, staggering scholarship. And the truth will set you free. I have to say, one of the things that have healed me the most, besides diet and EFT and I had a few other tricks on my sleeve, I guess, somewhere. But the truth that Mark Passio has taught me about Hermetic principles, about natural law, I could never do evil again. I would never go into a corporate Illuminati war and say, I must defend my country. You know, if the Army and the military were defending America, their guns would be pointed at the Federal Reserve, not at a bunch of Iraqi children, okay? Let's be honest about this, okay? Teddy Roosevelt, who my grandfather said was the greatest president who ever lived. Of course, because they killed McKinley, who was about to do some major banking reform. So, and they knew that's why he wanted into the presidency. So they shot him and put their puppet in, Teddy Bear. And all I have to say about Roosevelt is he could speak like 6 languages. He was a world traveler. His mind was just like what trained dark occult minds are like. They're not like the people who watch TV all day and sleepwalk, who go to work, come home, eat some processed Stouffer's Happy Meal or whatever, and then sit in front of the TV until it's time to go to bed and go back to work the next day. I mean, the people in Arden and Rose Valley, they have a lively cultural community. It's a real community, you know. These communities in suburbia that are just house, there's no community. There's no, they don't, half the people in this country don't even know their neighbor's name, you know? So I can see why, in some ways, it wasn't hard to sell the idea of the utopian community, you know? Of course, you know, they did it for their dark occult reasons. But they're alive mentally, much more than other people. They study the trivium. They can see fallacies. They can see a liar 1,000 miles away because they study the trivium. I just wanted to mention Jordan Maxwell, great researcher, you know, amazing stuff. And basically, all roads lead back to the Vatican, okay? Because it's the Roman Empire. It really is. Rome never fell. And I believe there's a good chance the Nazis really didn't lose the war, okay? What a great idea is to say, hey, we'll let you conquer us, quote, unquote. You know what I mean? But you're going to take all our scientists and all our dark occult, you know, mengalas, and you're going to disperse that into your societies. You know, and that's exactly what happened to the Soviet Union and America. We both took thousands of Nazis, dedicated hardcore Nazis, put them in our governments, put them in all kinds of programs, not just science, but education, everything. It's scary. So, and the thing is, when you look at the reptilians, okay, and you look at all this stuff. Now, one of the reasons the dark occult say that they're doing this, okay, is they got to feed the dark entities or else the human race will be destroyed. Well, you know, it's bull. It's not true. I'm just saying. So I got a Red Ice Creations here. If you don't know about it, I just want to say you should. And I'm going to say the greatest talk I've heard recently, except for some of the stuff Mark Passio's doing, has been Neil Kramer, with a K, November 21st, 2014. Neil Kramer gave a talk on Red Ice Radio called Imperial Culture versus Tribal Culture. Okay? Imperial culture versus tribal culture. And I highly recommend that for everyone. It'll blow you away. David Icke is another person that we need to know about and read one of his larger, older books, Beaker's Secret or Children of the Matrix, and get the history first, the ancient history of these powerful, powerful dark families. And so we have Vatican City, spiritual corruption, City of London, economic corruption, and of course, Washington, D.C., military corruption. And basically, as the universe calls them, Larry, Moe, and Curly. That's the joke. But they all have obelisks, you know, they're all waving at you like it's the club, the big club, you know, and you ain't a part of it, as George Carlin says. We are now deeply into the photonic belt in this reality. The photon belt is a high energy band at the equator of the galaxy. And our solar system is in that energy belt now. That's why we have a Schumann resonance of 16.5, not 7.5, okay? And as Michael Desarion said, what? Entire solar systems go through cleansing cycles? That we're actually in the universe's washing machine, the photon belt, and we're going to have to, raise up. You know? We're going to talk about a little bit and really quickly about status quo religion, okay? This is the Father God, who, of course, likes to kill. Basically, I was a Christian on and off. I understand the whole thing. I have nothing against anybody if they just obey natural law. You can have any belief system you want. You can do anything you want. Leave the children and the animals alone when engaging in sexual activity, okay? And please stop being violent, okay? That's all you have to do. But obviously, that's impossible. Now, all I have to say is, America has had 22 years of peace since it was founded, 34 years ago? It's like 22 years of peace. The rest were at war. We're at war. And most of them are wars of aggression. And I'm not joking. But this is the Frankish Empire at around 700 AD, 800 AD. I got 600. But I just wanted to show that you can tell it's the Holy Roman Empire, but it's the Roman Empire, okay? I mean, the Pope used to go have armies and go to war himself when need be. 16 crucified saviors, the story of salvationism way before Christianity, okay? Christ conspiracy, lots of detailed quotes and writings of early church fathers saying things like, we're no different than you, talking to pagans, okay? You know, it really opens your mind. And then Joseph Farrell and Scott DeHart did a really good book here on the psychology of the demiurge and two-faced God. You really look in there, and it's so much an Illuminati-made thing because a real God wouldn't allow this type of suffering, okay? No real father with any kind of heart would allow what's going on this planet to happen. I'm sorry. You've got things upside down and backwards. You've been convinced that this is Satan's world until your Savior comes. But I have to say to you, who benefits from that belief system? Only the Satanists. Because if the Satanists, because my mother told me that they invented Christianity, okay? And if you gang together a bunch of spiritual human beings, they will act just like if you put a bunch of computers together, you will get artificial intelligence out of it. So that's the way that works. But I tell any Christian, okay, read the list of books that I just put up here, and then talk to me. Because I've read with an open mind. I'm not looking to diss Christianity. But of course, all of us know Christianity isn't Christianity. At the Council of Nicaea, the Roman Emperor Constantine grabbed a hold of all the bishops in the known world, had them meet at Nicaea, and Constantine, ran the show. And they threw away 35 religious and spiritual books that were being used by the Christians at that time as teaching doctrine books. Threw them in the trash, and then Constantine's scribes made up the New Testament. So, you know, all I have to say is, before the Council of Nicaea, the story of Jesus and the Roman centurion, okay? You know, the centurion and Jesus meet, and the centurion says, I need help for somebody who's sick. And the centurion says, will you help me? And Jesus says, well, because you believe I can, it's already done. And all the Christians with Jesus, you know, they weren't Christians then, but, you know, all the Jews with Jesus were freaking out because he helped a pagan, especially a Roman general or whatever he was, you know, whatever. But the thing of the story was, it's the heart, you know. And so, you know, he helped someone who was not of his religion, something that Christians today, Muslims today, Jews today, increasingly are having trouble doing, okay? They're being the judge, not God. Okay? And that's because, you know, the Illuminati have steered these religions into a darker and darker perception of reality and teaching. So I just want to say one more thing about Christianity, and I'll go. Jesus taught his disciples in the Word. He had 70 disciples, and he said, go out and teach and heal. And if anyone does not believe your word, just walk away. Brush the dust off of your sandals and go. He didn't say, if someone does not believe your word, kill them and seize all their property. Burn them at the stake, okay? You know, accuse them of witchcraft, whatever. You see, the real spirituality of the planet is life-affirming. It's positive, okay? It's non-judgmental. It's in the here and now. Anything that's contrary to that, it's your decision who you want to serve. But the greatest book about the whole Christian era and what happened around, 1 AD or whatever you want to say, during the time of the first century AD. The Roman Empire was having a hard time with the Jews. The Jews did not like the Romans. And unlike other cultures, the Jews were not backing down. They were not assimilating. They were not going along with the Borg, okay? So the well-versed, powerful families in the Illuminati, said, well, what can we do? And it took them a couple hundred years. They did slowly, the totalitarian tiptoe, but they took over Christianity and they killed all the Gnostics, okay? I guess it took 1,000 years to get the job done totally. But after, the Council of Nicaea, when Jesus told them to go out and preach, he said, if they don't hear it, just dust off your sandals and go home. Don't worry about it. It's their problem. They don't want to be saved, not yours, okay? You've got a lot of other people that want to help, Keep moving. So now we get this thing. John Lash has spent his whole life, like Bruce Lipton, he wrote a book. He did a presentation to take all he knew and condense it into the most powerful, quickest thing that you could absorb, okay? And Not in His Image talks about the goddess, talks about the early Christian church, and talks about the predator-prey relationship we have with the demiurge, okay? We are all programmed from birth into Stockholm Syndrome. This is something my mother told me, okay? Because when you're dark occult Illuminati, you're taught the real truth of what's going on here. That everything on TV is a lie, that all the education system is indoctrination, okay? It's all to keep the 0.0000001% fat and happy. Because let me tell you something. There are 450 odd billionaires in America. Okay? What's 450 out of 3,300,000? You know what I mean? It's a ridiculously low number, percentage. No. Okay. I hope I'm giving you some useful information. So, okay? Okay. But there are pages in this book by John Lash that are so profound. I had to read them several times, especially when it came to the psychology of the predator-prey bonding that is brainwashed into humanity today. It's like they keep lying to us. They keep killing us, and we keep taking it, you know? It's time to deal with our Stockholm Syndrome. We tolerate no one in our ranks who attacks the ideas of Christianity. Our movement is Christian. And that's Adolf Hitler. And he's telling the truth. Christianity is a great religion for fascism. Great religion. They fit like a hand in a glove. Sorry. And I'm going to end on that note. You know, but Secret Life of Plants is one of the best books I've ever read. It came out in the 70s, and it was very popular. Peter Tompkins was a MI5 man in World War II. And when he retired from MI5, instead of just sitting on a Bermuda beach drinking Mai Tais, he did research into the Secret Life of Plants and wrote this book. It is mind-blowing how it shows how the Illuminati have taken over science, okay? And they want to keep all the good information for themselves and keep us in hell. Well, I have to tell them it's not going to work, all right? I know, I was talking to some bloodline people here last night, and he says, well, you know, I love your attitude that, you know, as humanity wakes up, the consciousness power will shift over to the better, and the human race will free itself from the Stockholm Syndrome it's under now, okay? Now, you know, people, you got to really start bitching about the fluoride in your water, the GMO food. You've got to put this eugenics program down now. And I want to wrap up quickly. But, you know, we've lost 40% of our ozone. We're in deep trouble here. There are gigaton, quadrillions of methane under the ocean floor in the Arctic. The geoengineering is bending the jet stream. That's why it's freezing in Dallas and warm in Siberia. And the methane is starting to surface. If the methane really gets going to where it's a 35 times more powerful greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. The last time this locked-in methane was in the atmosphere, it took the planet Earth 30 million years to recover, okay? So when the rank and file Illuminati give me an attitude of like, oh, listen to Jay, he doesn't, you know, you think that you're going to have nirvana when we all get microchipped. And finally your payday after generations of work will finally come in. Well, that's great. I hope you have a stack of Federal Reserve notes 10 feet high, you know, to protect you from the sun. You know? The planet is going to be destroyed if the spraying continues. You all know that. Go to geoengineeringwatch.org and do some studying. What I'm doing is for the generation behind me. I'm being responsible for what I'm going to leave them in this world. And also, I'm doing it for the secondary psychopaths. I know, who are perpetrators of ritual abuse today throughout America and the world. Stand down. Stand down. There is nothing in the system for you but death for all of us. You know? The elite, they don't care. They'll just go into their bunkers underground. But there's not room for 34 million people down there, okay, folks? And I just, I don't like the idea of the planet having to go through another methane destruction, okay? So we have a choice to make, and we're out of time. But, the Free Your Mind Conference is going to do a little thing called the Great Consciousness Experiment. And we'll have it up on the web in a couple of days. And I'm going to reach out to all the alternative media people out there. And we're going to reproduce Emoto's water blessing and see if we can use our thoughts, our hearts, and our intention to heal the Schuylkill River by Fairmount, by the Art Museum. So the event will probably happen in a month as a celebration of getting this conference's videos out on the web. And we're hoping that you'll all join in from all over the world, not physically. I'll get a bunch of people physically around the river, around the basin there where the waterworks are. I'm sure I can get 500 people down there because people love nature. They have a respect for the goodness that was given to the people of Earth. And we want to protect that goodness. And now's the time we have to get cannabis instead of cutting down trees. We really have to, stop the corrupt laws that are, killing people and destroying the ecology. This thing of asking permission from these, and most of the people in government are, Illuminati and pedophiles and stuff. It's a high percentage. There's 20,000 people that work in, I know my mind goes all over. There's 20,000 people that work in the Pentagon. The FBI did a child pornography sting to see how many people in the Pentagon would bite on child porn. It was 5,000 people. Okay? So you got 5,000 pedophiles in the Pentagon working today, getting paid good money. All right? And so the FBI wanted to keep investigating, and somebody in the, State Department named Hillary said, stop that. I'm serious. I'm serious. I believe the State Department. I don't know how the Department of State, maybe it was Justice, could have been Justice, but one of the big departments, either State or Justice, came in and said, hey, you can't investigate us. You're in the FBI, you find out there's just a huge nest of pedophiles in the Pentagon, you start doing research and you know who they are, because you find who's downloading from your Sting site child pornography, all right? You know who these people are. They're using government computers to get child porn, and yet the investigation is collapsed by the Department of Justice, I think, did it. And it's in the paper. Nobody seems to care. Folks, this has got to change, or else you'll go extinct, okay? But I would think we can make a better decision. And at the Great Consciousness Experiment, we're going to do not only Emoto's water blessing, but we're also going to Ustream it, okay? It'll be on Ustream or some other free streamer. Maybe I might have to charge $1 or something. I don't know, because I want to make sure we can do this without the thing crashing all the time. But I'm thinking we're going to do some fire starting experiment, see if we can roll a ball across a table. You know what I mean? I'm going to sit there with Michael Falsetta, and we're going to try to heal a sick plant, okay? We're going to use what we got, okay? Because we don't have atomic bombs to fight with. We don't have the ability to print trillions of dollars like the Illuminati. But we have something much more powerful. We have our hearts. And in the scaling model of the universe done by Nassim Haramein, from infinitely large to infinitely small, what's right in the middle is the human being. That's because we're at the fulcrum of this seesaw, okay? So we're the power point because we oscillate very quickly between everything together consciously, and then we're here. And it's vibrating back and forth. And as Nassim Haramein says, how much do you know about your quantum self? Because 50% of your life, you're in the quantum field, and 50% of it, you're here. But consciously, you can only realize this. But the truth of the matter is, and quantum physicists know, because of looking at the quanta, that the oscillation is real. We are all one. Everything is all one, and then everything separates into this illusion. Okay? So the Great Consciousness Experiment, probably be, second week of May. You know, I don't think I'll do it on Beltane. You know. So if anybody has any questions for me, I'd like to take them. Any questions? Sure.
Hard time understanding what really motivates people. I understand if you're indoctrinated in the family, you grow up traumatized, you perpetuate it. But at some level, there's got to be someone who can be asked what motivates them to participate in this, to promote this agenda, and to do it over lifetimes when the end is way down in line, when they're doing all these horrible things. I mean, they must have some sense of right and wrong and some sense of repercussion on some level. So how can they persuade themselves to do this, even if it's for riches, power, becoming hip-hop, whatever, or being a political thing? They've got to know this consciousness. How can they actually bring themselves to do such unmitigated, horrible evil?
Yeah, it really blows my mind that when my parents, when I think back on it, and Buzzware and Mr. Rockman and such, when they would, this one incident where they killed this girl from Long Beach when I was there, and they're all laughing. They're all laughing. And they axe murdered this girl, and they're just laughing. And they said, it's okay, she'll just get another avatar. They didn't use the term avatars. She'll just go back to central casting, get a new body, she'll get another life. Because, they didn't kill her spirit, they just killed her body. Now, what is motivating them? I think one of the main motivators is greed. Greed is a big motivator because I'm sure in the cult you can get paid if you can procure some young children for a rich Illuminati. There's things you can do for extra money, Greed is a big thing. What motivates them too is anger at God, because what's wrong with our society all over is we have the demiurge lie about spirituality and who we are and where we are, So we've got to just get back to natural law. Let's just tone and turn everything down. All the rhetoric, Let's, just calm down. Let's take a time out and assess where we are. Because one thing's for sure, if we continue to follow these misleaders, we're dead. And thank you very much.